G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today we are on Lakeside. I think it's the first time we've casted this in a very long time. I'm pretty sure we did basically one game of this pretty much. Anyway, it looks like the map's changed up a little bit. Let's get into it and introduce our players for today. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning in the north of the map, in the color pink, playing as the Holy Roman Empire, it's our Chinese friend. And in the south side of the map, in the color purple, playing as the Knights Templar, representing Team Liquid, it is Demu. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a caster game. A pleasure to have your company as we've got realistically two titan civilizations right here. The Knights Templar, arguably the more powerful of the newly released civilizations. And I know there's going to be people that say, well, hold on. No, it's not. House of Lancaster is stronger. Well, I mean, it depends. Do you want to go off the stats? Do you want to go off the pros play? Or what the pros say, rather. Or the pros play, in that regard. But it's, you know what? I'll give it to you. We don't really know where the balance is just yet at this stage. You know what? I'm just going to take it back. Everything that I've said to start us off with, ignore it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lakeside. A pleasure to have your company. You're in the hands of a professional, I assure you. But we've got ourselves a double dock opening coming through from both of these players. I tell you what, I like what I see. And if you like what you see, make sure you go ahead, hit that like button down below. Really helps out with the traction of the videos. A little bit of an idle TC time coming through for our Chinese friend on the north side of the map. So let's break this map down. Let's talk a little bit about what we can expect to see today. So first and foremost, we do have a little bit of shorefish. Not a whole lot of shorefish in here, but definitely a reasonable amount of shorefish. On top of that, you've also got water towards the north, water towards the other side of the pond, which means that there's the potential for drops in the event that you do lose out on this. I suspect that players are probably going to be looking to migrate generally towards this side of the map. We can see there's a lot of resources over here. One thing to note though is wood is a little bit scarce on this map. Not a whole lot of tree lines out there. You've got some relatively safe big boys, but then other than that, there's not a whole lot out there. There is plenty of stealth forest to grab though, so I'm sure Demu will be absolutely fine if he runs out of wood a little bit later in this game. But I wouldn't be surprised if we even see players, whoever wins the water especially, look to try and secure this little corner, because there's quite a nice bit of resources out here. So either way, it's a standard start that we've seen for both players. No one's really looking to aggress early on. No military production. So what do we expect to see? What do we hope to see here? Well, I would suspect we would see a Holy Roman Empire heading towards the Imperial Age at some point. I think that makes a decent assessment right there, but normally you're going to be looking to rush it when you're playing the Holy Roman Empire. When it comes to the food economy though, the food economy is not going to be too significant. We can see 3 fishing boats down here for the moment. It's a reasonable amount. Do we see the same on the other side? We actually see a 4th fishing boat coming out for demo, so looking to go a little bit heavy. And honestly, I'd be tempted to say that is the correct play, because as you will know, with the deep water fish, they do regenerate. We actually just saw, as it came down to 9k food, it's regened back up to 950, and that will continue happening. So I think it definitely makes sense to be going for the 4th, even a 5th fishing boat out here. But one reason why you might be hesitant to go more than the 3 fishing boats is just simply from the fact, oh my lord, I feel like my volume's a little bit high here. Let me check my levels just a sec. I might need to turn it down. I'm going to turn it down just ever so slightly. Those sirens are a bit loud for my ears. Apologies. But yeah, one of the reasons why you might be tempted to just do 3 villages or 3 fishing boats is because that's all you can fit out here in the actual dock itself. So it just saves of it, inevitably that fishing boat going down. But we do have the Archon Chapel coming up for our Chinese friend on the north side of the map. Not a bad little spot for him right here. Gets the gold, gets the wood line, also gets the town center. Keep in mind that this gold is only a 1600 gold, so you technically, arguably, could have placed this even in a way that might have hit this stone. I don't know if you would have got that, but then you miss out on a lot of wood as well. But might be a second TC that we have coming up here for the Holy Roman Empire player. We'll check in on the south side as the age up for Demu about to come through. It's going to be the Kingdom of France. No real surprise there. One of the things that we've definitely begun to see is a trend towards the Kingdom of France in the feudal age, Genoa in the castle age, and in the imperial age, the Poles. So I wouldn't be surprised as to whether we see that here today, because well, that's my suspicion. I'm kind of curious to see how the devs go about balancing the other or the other age ups, because it definitely feels like, you know, there's a little bit to be desired. I can see the vision for all of them, but I think just the fact that you've got the knight coming through, the pseudo knight from the Kingdom of France. It just really plays into the civilization quite well. Now, when it comes to sacred sites, we do have our 2 sacred sites today. So I suspect Demu's probably going to be heading down towards this one in the event he does actually want to get his pilgrims out. We've got a little bit of scout harassment here as well. Now, where's Demu's scout? If we take a look on the other side of the map, they're both actually harassing early villagers. So Demu going to be forced to walk the villager back. Probably going to be the same here for our Chinese friend as well. Arkan Chapel doing work over here. Let's take a look at the docks and see how we're doing. We've got the first of the galleys on the way out for the Holy Roman Empire. Meanwhile, Demu yet to actually get anything into construction just yet. What's the play for him? He's going to be going into pilgrims, I suspect. There we go, immediately coming out. So looking to go for safe passage just to start us off with. And, of course, has the option for Sanctuary in a little bit. The way that he's stacking up resources makes me think he might be tempted to do it. But at what cost? He could potentially lose the water. And we can see right now the galley's going to come out. We'll be able to defend the villager. So our Chinese friend will be able to leave this here for the moment. But the villager's just going to run back to base anyway. So at the end of the day, it's more about controlling what you've got out here. But now we see the galley coming out for Demu. So going to be looking to put the hurt on early here. Maybe even look to try and get in the opponent's fishing line. Now, keep in mind, we did see the Holy Roman Empire player was on stone. So that means the potential for a potential naval arrow slits, which is exactly what we've got coming through here, which pretty much means this is impossible to deny by Demu until he actually gets a decent bulk of units out here. And I think it's definitely one of the interesting discussions, or not discussions, but, you know, one of the interesting points where you're like, okay, Demu's going to come in. He's going to see how much damage he can do. He's going to grab the first one here. No reaction coming out from the Holy Roman Empire player just yet. We do now finally see it come through. Definitely a bit of a delay right there, but of course, Demu's going to have to head back to the drawing board. Now, there's definitely a question as to how much you want to invest when it comes to this sort of thing. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be investing a whole bunch of resources, and you're not really securing that much. What you're securing is the ability in the late game to do silly little shenanigans like drops and that kind of stuff. You also do have access to resources as well, but it's very limited, right? Like, it's a couple of deep sea fish. That's realistically it. But Demu with some beautiful micro right now, about to take down the galley from his opponent. Nice little dodges coming through from our Chinese friend, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, I suspect he may be cornered. Indeed, he is, and that is it. We've got our pilgrim on the way out here. 130 gold for the pilgrim. Not a bad little price to pay out here for a pilgrim. Going to return on invest very quickly. We've got the scout towards the front of the base. Spots the outpost on the gold, so normally a good sign that it's going to be a castle age timing. Interestingly, we've only got the one prelate out so far, but there is a little bit of gold that's banking up here, so I'm hoping that we see that second prelate come out shortly. Now, when it comes to relics on this map, you've essentially got 2 safe ones for Demu, at least the way that it's spawned. You've also got 2 contested in the center, and then you've got the single safe one back here for the Holy Roman Empire player. So definitely a little less favorable. So I definitely think in this situation, in this game, I'm going to say right now, I think Demu may have taken the bait. I don't think it's worth contesting water on here. And this might be a hot take here, especially considering how hot I came in at the beginning of the game about balance. So you're going to have to hear me out. But let me explain, okay? So, if we think about it from like the perspective of the Holy Roman Empire, what do they want to do? Number 1, they want to collect relics. Number 2, they want to get Imperial. That's pretty much it. Okay, so if you can delay your enemy from converting their water advantage until you get to Imperial, then essentially you can pretty much get it up to Imperial scot-free without too much of a hassle. And I'm going to pause it right now. I think that might be what's happening here. Now, the Holy Roman Empire might change things up and go for a stable, exactly like we see here, and they might look to go for, 1 night, 2 nights, 10 nights. It could depend. But realistically, what Demu has gained out here is not significant in the sense of resources. It's significant in the sense of utility, because you've got your deep sea fish out here. These aren't going to last forever, and eventually Demu will be able to come out here, maybe even throw a dock here just so he can gather up this deep sea fish, or rather this deep sea fish. But it's not a huge amount of resources. It's definitely not something to write home about. At least in my mind, not worth to the extent of this, right? Like, this is a huge amount of resources if we were to consider just how much this is, right? Like, Demu has put in 230 times 4 at the very least, so we know at least 1k, and then he's got 4 demo ships that are about to come through. That's 160. So he's put in at least 1.6k resources into this. You can see he's got the demo ships parked out the front. He's just going to leave them for the moment. They're going to get blown up. They're actually soaking up they're actually soaking up all of the attacks from the dock. and now should look to work down the next one. But so Demu will secure the water here, okay? And I think this is undeniable, but I think the big question is at what cost, right? Like, if we think about it, Genoa coming through as well for Demu here. So Relic's going to be now secured. We can see the first of the prelates on the way out. Interestingly, just keeping all of his prelates, or his existing prelate, inside the Archon for the beginning. And the wall now coming up as well for the Holy Roman Empire player. So definitely knows that it's pretty much all over when it comes to the water. So if I'm Demu right here, I'm getting a transport ship and I am moving a villager over here to get a dock so that I can actually take advantage of this deep water fish, because this is going to be the gift that keeps on giving all game for him, and it's essentially +4, +5 vills somewhere in that region, and that's a huge amount over the course of the game. But you got to remember, at what cost are you securing that? And that is where my fear is starting to come through. Crossbowmen now going to be coming out here. A whole bunch of vills as well, going to be contesting the knight. Knight most likely going to be going down. Indeed it does. Still only the single pilgrim out for the moment for Demu, but we can see quite a bit of movement out here as well for the Holy Roman Empire player. Now, it looks like he might actually be moving into quite a few units here, which is interesting. And by the way, interesting decision-making with the stable positioning. I would have thought you'd go for something more down here just so that you could avoid that runaround. But, of course, that's with 2020 vision. And you can see these knights are going to continually be hit by these annoying little galleys here on the shoreline. I wonder also about whether or not this wall will actually remain up, or whether or not this wall's just going to have to come all the way down. Because at the end of the day, Demu's going to be able to see up here, and we'll be able to attack it. It's just whether or not he's going to have the ability to see all the way up there. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how that plays out. Crossbow numbers starting to look quite healthy here. So horsemen are going to be coming out for the Holy Roman Empire, and I think one of the traps that the Holy Roman Empire could fall into here is making too many units. I don't think you want to do that. I think realistically you want to make as many units as you possibly can to guarantee that you collect all your relics. That's pretty much it. Now we can see that he's already picked up 3 relics at the moment. There's a 4th relic to the south, a 5th relic that's going to be safe. So at the very least, he's going to be picking up 4 of those relics, which is very nice. We do see this sacred site's now been converted as well by the Holy Roman Empire player, which means Demu's going to have to move his pilgrims over towards this sacred site in the middle. It's going to reduce the amount of resources that they're actually pulling in. Knight and horseman now coming out. Demu going to have to move into, at the very least, a barracks or 2, and we do see it's a barracks or 3 that is coming out for him, and this makes 100% sense. The only trouble is we got to think about it from the perspective of Demu, right? Like, let's say, okay, the spears are coming out. What are the spears coming out for? They're coming out so our crossbows don't die to horsemen. Okay, but how many horsemen are there on the map? Well, there's only enough horsemen out right now to kill the crossbows, right? So the crossbow number is going to continue to improve, but it's more of a thing that just kind of stops Demu from getting out onto the map at this stage of the game. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, we see those relics being picked up. So this is 5 relics now coming out, and we hear that pilgrim sound as well. Pilgrims can no longer travel to the selected sacred site, so I think that they've now moved towards that north position. I wonder if they still actually get the gold for coming out here. They just kind of chill. They just kind of... Oh, we got it in the end. It's a little bit of a hustle, but the bustle's definitely down. Yoink, we'll take it. Hey, we'll take it. 169 gold. But, of course, you can't select that sacred site now for Demu. For Demu, rather. It is only that he can send his units to the uncaptured sacred site. Well, uncaptured for how long? That is the big question. But what's interesting here for me is that our Holy Roman Empire player, despite picking up 5 out of 5 relics, which is incredible, right? So I always say 3 relics is good, 4 relics is great, 5 relics is questionable in the sense that what is your enemy doing? But we understand the circumstances, right? Like, Demu has invested heavily on the water, and we now see that transport ship coming out. So he's invested heavily on the water. He's put in quite a lot of work with regard to the galleys, with regard to the demo ships. And because of that, it's meant he's invested all those resources there. And subsequently, his opponent has been able to invest resources elsewhere. Right? It's going to take time for those fishing boats to pay off. It's going to take time for that dock to pay off, for those galleys to pay off. And because of that, it means that his opponent has got that ability to get a little bit of extra gain. Now, Outpost was coming up in the center. It's going to be denied away. The Sacred Site did get caught, so at least for the moment, Demu are going to be absolutely fine to pick up this Sacred Site, or at least hold down this Sacred Site for his pilgrims. That's going to be a key factor here. Now, the Sacred Site is technically captured. You can see that it is working towards his opponent. So we've got all 5 relics now within the possession of our Holy Roman Empire player. This is where you start to see them cooking. 2 relics back here. Whole bunch of idle villagers for the moment. But they'll be migrating. They'll be moving. Fortress has come up. He's going to be looking to put another fortress down. Where does he go with this next fortress? Ideally, Demu needs to get into Imperial Age, needs to get a cannon emplacement on his outpost, needs to fortify the outpost before he does that, and he needs to get a set of Culverin that come out and look to try and deal with these fortresses. I think that's going to be the best bet here for him. But the second fortress is going to be a little bit safer back towards home. So definitely looking to play a bit more of a conventional game here, a safer game. But I think from the perspective of Demu, everything he's doing is right, but it very much plays in, this strategy very much plays into the hand of the Holy Roman Empire. And there's part of me that thinks that perhaps the Holy Roman Empire might actually be a very strong counter to the Knights Templar, just purely because they do all the things that you want to do in a situation where you're countering the Knights Templar. You want to get to Imperial, and because you want to get to Imperial, you're going to have access to Culverin, and because you're going to have access to Culverin, you'll be able to deal with those fortresses a lot earlier than other civilizations that typically wouldn't be there. And of course, you can make trebuchets, because trebuchets obviously work against fortresses, but they don't have that same level of DPS. Now, Demu's going to be spotting out the cavalry towards the south side. Going to see this raid attempt has been shut down. Now, of course, these villages will be nice and safe, but for the moment, everything looking good for him. I think my biggest fear right now is that HRE's got 5 relics, and that's a problem. That is a huge problem, because now you've got a whole bunch of resources that are being generated from nothing. So we go back to that whole concept of, okay, is it really worth investing all of these resources to deny water from your opponent, when at the end of the day, they're going to be able to get up to Castle Age, and they're going to be able to pick up 5 relics, which is then going to be worth way more than what your water is worth. And this is where it's like, there's a little bit of a, I don't want to say a conundrum, but a dilemma. There's definitely a dilemma on this map as to how much you invest in the water. And I wouldn't be surprised to see players just, quite literally concede water where it makes sense. So I think with the Holy Roman Empire as an example, it definitely makes sense, right? Because you've got something to gain, something to really build up on. But we see the unit number starting to look quite decent here for the Holy Roman Empire. He's been making units all this time. There's not a whole lot of resources in the bank. Maybe looking at a potential tilt at Imperial Age, but the number advantage here is significant. He should be able to do quite well here. Obviously, Demu's still working with that villager count yet to be paid off completely. Nice little surround on the crossbowman with the horseman. Beautiful micro so far as well from our Chinese friend, and he's able to really deal with this north part, this top part of the crossbowman army. The number's still looking really good as well. Another fortress is going to be thrown down for Demu, a little bit closer to that initial fortress site. But the numbers, for the moment, going to be okay for Demu to hold this. But as I said, my main concern is now that we're going to see Swabia come out. And Swabia is just going to go up the top here. No, where's he going to put it? He's going to put it down the bottom, okay? Probably a little bit safer, especially considering he did lose the water, and ideally you don't want to be losing out a position like this. In fact, it's not even that high. It's not even that good of a position, right? It's only 1,600 gold that you're getting. So, yeah, it's not a huge advantage. We do see the outpost coming up. Now, does he have any outposts that don't have springwood emplacements yet? So, yes, he does. This one right here. So, I think this is going to be, yeah. Oh, he just literally deleted that. That's kind of weird, not going to lie. I don't know why he didn't fortify that and then look to put the cannon emplacement on it. But to be honest, the position that he's in, I don't even think he needs cannon emplacements. Like, he feels, I'm going to say right now, I think Demu's definitely a bit behind. If we look at the score, it says he's up. I wouldn't trust that score, though. I definitely would not trust that score. I think Demu is quite a bit behind here, just simply because Swabia is about to start printing, right? And if we look at the vill count, Demu's up slightly. He's also got the pilgrims that are going to be working. Each one of these about 3 villages each, so you can add in an extra, it's basically a 13 villager lead at the moment. But then you've got to consider, okay, well, what about the relics? And what about the Swabia that's about to take off? What about the Tithe Barns that is inevitably and about to come through? We've also had, we've just got the new upgrade that's just come through. Apologies for not showing you guys what it is. If I remember correctly, it basically allows your monasteries and Regnitz Cathedral to act as an Archon Chapel, basically. Lets them have that little buffer in an AoE around them. It's not not as big as the Archon Chapel, if I remember correctly. If we actually write on board, you'll see here is the radius for the Archon Chapel. Regnitz, it doesn't actually show, excuse me. Sorry, had to have a little bit of a cough right there. Drink of the day is water. We are officially standing in this cast. I will say it right now. Culverin are out 18 minutes into the game. Keep in mind, these are bombard replacements. Which means that he'll be able to effectively deal with this this infrastructure that his opponent has begun building through the center of the map. Sorry, I should have warned you. I was taking a drink. Man, that's good. That's the good stuff. I just got that water. That is fresh out of the fridge. That is so damn good, that water. All right, Culverin moving up. Demu going to be able to spot this one out. Now, how does he go about dealing with the Culverin? That is an interesting question. I think you've got to go for cavalry. Does he look to go for Imperial as well and look to move into potential Polish cavalry? That could be an option for him. Also, I think you could also just keep spamming out fortresses, right? Like, the more you make, it's going to mean that you need more and more Culverin to deal with them. But now pushing forward, he's not paying a whole lot of attention. The spears together with the crossbow should be able to pick up the kill right here, and indeed they do, and that's going to mean that Demu just needs to fall back for the moment. But you can see the consequence of this Holy Roman Empire play is that he needs to invest heavily in Culverin now, but he also needs to invest in defense for the Culverin. Springwood emplacement is through. Keep in mind, no Trebuchet emplacement just yet. At least not until Imperial Age for Demu. So it should definitely be looking towards that. Now, Demu not really making a play towards the north here. One of the things I'd be tempted to do is just bring a couple of the galleys a bit closer, drop a racks down here, and just start making spears. Just start getting annoying, right? Like, you just put a spear, or 2 or 3 spears here, and just start getting them to work through this. Be really annoying. Try and get your opponent off balance a little bit. And that's always really, really annoying to deal with. That sort of annoying little player. That's the only word I can use to describe it, because it's just so annoying. I hate it. Big golds, decent sized golds here, still available for both players. Scout's going to be moving forward. He spots out the next little position here. He's going to dive in. It feels like he's not really paying attention sometimes. It feels like he's in a distant land. So let's just put it that way. Second Culverin now has come out, and Trebuchet firing off. Not the Trebuchet on top though. Keep that in mind. So there's the second Culverin now coming out. I'd like to see him spamming Culverin. I would like to see, in this matchup especially, 4 to 5 Culverin. I feel like it makes a lot of sense to have a lot of Culverin here, just because your enemy is going to be putting these down. You want to be getting through these fortresses very, very quickly. The more Culves you've got, the better. So just, I would be prioritizing 100% on them. Now, we do have elite upgrades starting to come through. Elite upgrades for horsemen. We've got +3. We've already got the... I take it back. We don't have elite upgrades for archers just yet. The number's starting to look a little bit better here for Demu. He's got about twice the military number of his opponent, so we can see 70 versus 40 at the moment for Demu. Definitely where you want to be in this game. So should be able to utilize that number advantage here to really push and punish the Culverin. And that's what he should be doing. Every opportunity he sees these Culverin come out, he should be looking to try and take them out. So you can see he is working them down with the Trebuchets, but at the same time, the army needs to come out here, try and commit to the Culverin, try and kill the Culverin, at least force it back. Exactly how he's doing right now. Meanwhile, the build-up is still happening. Keep that in mind, that we do still have that build-up happening for the Holy Roman Empire, with quite a few units continuing to be added in here. We see horsemen together with the hand cannoneers. But I think this is a really interesting game from the perspective of... we kind of saw this coming from the very beginning of the game. I'm not going to lie. Like, you're investing a lot of resources. It's allowing your opponent 155 golds coming through as well. That's a lot of pilgrims that are coming through. That's 6 pilgrims that have just arrived for 163 gold each. So you're talking about 900, a little bit over 900 gold, almost 1,000 gold. In fact, about 1,000 gold on the button. But yeah, I think it's definitely a dilemma that you face on a map like this, especially up against a civilization like the Holy Roman Empire, where they gain a huge amount from getting castle first. And because of that, it's going to take time for your fishing boats to pay off, together with, like, you're winning the water and then converting their fishing boats into, or converting their fish into your economy. So the fact that they're able to get that early economy out just, I think, is very, very powerful for them. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Holy Roman Empire just become like the King Civ on this map, where they just kind of seed the water every single game. By the way, that Treb number is starting to look a little bit healthier. Meanwhile, hand cannoneers building up as well. There's the third Culverin coming out. Good to see, exactly what we want. More and more Culverins coming through. On the side of Demu, though, the hold is looking good. They're even Stevens, 167 versus 167 pop at the top. Vil count going to be climbing, though, for our Holy Roman Empire player, and keep that in mind. The longer this game goes, the better it's going to get for him. He's got a huge amount of villager potentially building up here. Treb still working it down. Look at the Trebs, actually quite effective. Oh my lord, no wonder they're so effective. How many Trebuchets would you like? And Demu says yes. 7 Trebuchets. My lord, he is absolutely pumping. These Templar Trebuchets are not to be messed with. Culverin goes down. That's 1 out of 3. He's got 2 more to go. He's going to look to try and take this fight. Keep in mind, elite upgrades have come through for the horsemen. Hand cannoneers towards the back, going to keep firing off of the Trebs, still working their magic on that back line. Vil's probably going to go down to the boulders soon as well. But the number on hand cannoneers looking very good. The only issue is, how do you deal with these Trebs now? The Trebs are the problem. The Treb's able to take out the Culverin. I tell you what, get rid of American Sniper. We've got the Trebuchet Sniper that is now in effect. This is incredible. He's not even Imperial Age. He's just holding right now with Castle Age Trebs, and you can see how effective they are as well. Keep in mind, the Trebs for Knights Templar are just so much better than the average. So you can see here it's got 2 burst attacks. He's also got the ability to get a 3rd burst attack as well. Eventually, I think when he gets to Imperial Age, he'll have that option if he hasn't already picked it up, or maybe I'm forgetting something. Excuse me for the moment. Yeah, it is a powerful civilization. Oh yeah, that's right. It's at the university, isn't it? Give me a sec here. I'm going to have to take a swig of water. How many Trebs is he up to? He's up to 9 Trebuchets now. Demo up to a reasonable amount of Trebuchets. He's also got a really good defense for them as well. So he's at 174 population. So if I'm Demo, I'm looking to go Imperial Age and at the same time get all my upgrades and then do a big push. The biggest thing that you could do right now, because you're closing in on that 200 population, you kind of want to be thinking about Imperial Age. You don't want to be fighting consistently. If you keep fighting consistently against the Holy Roman Empire, I feel like you're just going to lose because they've got a larger economy and more population space to play with when it comes to that sort of attrition. Not more population space necessarily, but they've got more resources to play with when it comes to that attrition. Drink time, give me a sec. That is good water. Trebs firing off. Wow, look at the damage on that backline. And let's get into it because the number of military units right here dwarfs what his opponent has got. Demu is well and truly ahead in this defense. And that's what we're witnessing here. I mean, look at the amount of trebuchets that just fire off, tee off towards the enemy here. We'll witness it. There they go. Firing down, looking to hit that enemy siege. Look at the amount of keeps or fortresses he's got right here as well. It's like, welcome to the beehive right here, except there's no bees, there's only trebuchets. It is, it's definitely, it's kind of crazy just how hard this civilization goes. And keep in mind, we've got Sacred Victory that should be coming up shortly. Give me a second here. How long have we got? We got Sacred Victory in 5 minutes, so we are really on the bell right now. Okay, all right, it's starting to heat up here. We're at about 6K for our Holy Roman Empire player compared to Demu, who's sitting at about 4.5K from my quick little look. And there's the Kingdom of Poland. Okay, so Demu right now needs to avoid fighting. So you can see how he's backing out. This is definitely the right call. Set up all the trebuchets here in a nice little line. Exactly. And do not take a fight right now. The most important thing that you can do is just kind of just chill for the moment. You want to get your upgrades in on your fortresses. You want to get your upgrades in on all your units to get your elite upgrades, and then you want to be taking the fight. And right now, there's a bit of a problem because you can see Holy Roman Empire, he will know this as well. So he'll be looking to push right here, right now. The moment the age up comes through is when he'll look to try and get that push. And he's 200 out of 200. And that's a really difficult spot because look how many resources or how many units he's got stacked up in here. A huge amount. He's going for the push. 3 seconds. Oh, this is the worst timing for a possible push that you could possibly see. Poland comes through and Demu's forced to fight right now. Elite upgrades on the way through, but it's going to take time. 55 seconds, 56 seconds. 30 seconds on the emplacement. Meanwhile, the army's doing a decent job of holding, but he's committing to this fight. He needs to be falling away from the front line. Does not want to commit into this, especially into the reinforcements of the Holy Roman Empire. Continuing to kite back the trebuchets onto that back line, dishing out a huge amount of damage. Ville's going to be able to repair up. He's brought the prelates up to heal as well. Meanwhile, the crossbowmen now going to get staunched on by these backline horsemen that have made their way to the front. He's now got a little bit of trouble in paradise all of a sudden. No Trebs emplacements through just yet. There they are, finally arriving. He's got 1, 2, a couple more on the way through. Insufficient stone. No longer able to repair up this trebuchet. That's going to mean the Culverin are going to be able to take it down. Horsemen still working down all the trebuchets on the back line. Demu's army. Where is Demu's army? Where is Demu's army? Where did it all go? He's got the Schlatter, the Schlachter cavalry that are coming out, but his castles are starting to fall. Demu holding on for dear life in this game. 28 minutes, 3 minutes to go on the Sacred Victory, and his opponent has picked the perfect possible time. Was absolutely pixel perfect. Demu now forced away from the front line. That sacred site is now going to be converted or neutralized over, and that's going to mean Demu is in a really hard spot to fight here. He's got one way through this though, and I think it's got to be the Schlatter. But the problem is your enemy's got so many hand cannoneers out already that they're just going to be able to shoot through that armor. They've got a total of 10 ranged armor, but the Schlatter, well, the hand cannoneer just does not care. Trebuchet emplacement, going to try and fire down towards the keep. Not going to be enough to take it out. Culverin still working it down. He's got 4 Culverin that are online at the moment. And now working down that front line. I think that was Demu's real chance right there. The push came through at the perfect time. If these units had been elite, it would have been a completely different ballgame. But unfortunately for Demu, the push came through literally at the perfect second. You couldn't have asked for a better time on that push. It was literally perfect. And the reason why is because any second earlier, and your opponent's got resources that they can spare. Any second later, and they can't, because they've literally just invested all of their resources into upgrades. There's nothing worse. He's got a whole bunch of resources that he can't do anything with, and now Demu, we ride on board from his perspective and see what potentially there is that he could do. He's losing both of the fortresses. He's down to 101 population. This is GG. There's no way he possibly wins this game. His economy is nowhere near the power of the Holy Roman Empire. All 5 relics, 128 eco units on this field. And I think we've got at least a little bit of evidence, a little bit of our first exhibit when it comes to the dilemma. The Demu dilemma right here. Do you commit to the water? How much do you commit to the water? Do you just try and look to harass your enemy and force them off the water? Or do you just only send out a single galley and just try and kill fishing boats? Maybe that's the play. Maybe you just go into a defensive dock, throw down your naval arrow slits, and say, if the enemy wants to come for me, I am going to allow it. And just be annoying on their side, try and get a galley out. Maybe that's the play. But it looks like Demu might be attempting one last stand. One hopeful, one way that he can get back into this game. Let's have a look and see how he's doing on economy. At the moment, 73 villages. Eco upgrades still coming through. He's looking for that biology upgrade. That'll help out his Schlatter cavalry. Of course, they've already got quite a huge amount, or quite a big health pool, 385. Biology going to push that even further, but now we'll see the power of the hand cannoneers as they just brute force down this. Ville's going to be pulled as well. He's trying to light up all the culverin on the backside. Meanwhile, the hand cannoneers standing their ground firmly up against these spearmen, up against these Schlatter cavalry. The biology upgrade still not through. Another 6 seconds. I don't think it would have mattered. The hand cannoneers are very strong in this situation. And now Demu, with the last of his economy, is looking to try. He's managed to siege down or take down all of the siege. But at the end of the day, the sacred victory is now approaching for his opponent. And now he'll have nowhere to send his pilgrims. The last of the fortresses are still standing strong. But at what cost did that investment early go? And the answer is, unfortunately, the game. I think if there was ever a civilization you wouldn't want to do this against, it would be the Holy Roman Empire. I feel like it just played perfectly into their hands. It made so much sense for them to be able to do this. Just to invest early in the water, grab a little bit of resources from the fish, accelerate their castle age up a little bit, throw down the galley just to harass Demu, make him overinvest. Just a handful of villages on the stone early on just to get that extra emplacement through. Everything that he did was just absolutely on point. And I feel like he has thought this one out, our Chinese friend. He has absolutely thought out how to play this map perfectly. And it feels like Demu unfortunately got... I mean, he got played like a fiddle at the end of the day. Demu's going to try his best to recover here. You can see the Ville count, 57 against 128. He's got elite crossbows now through. The Schlatter. Unfortunately, it's not going to matter for the Schlatter. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Demu tapping out. And our victor today is the Holy Roman Empire. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go and check Demu out. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can watch him live. He's streaming every single day on Twitch. A top 5 player at the moment. So go say good day from me, and we'll catch you in the next one.